Hello, and welcome to another episode of Elemental Connections, five-part miniseries podcast that promotes ecophily, the love and kinship with ecological processes. In this episode, we connect with water. I hope you find yourself sitting on a beach or situated beside a river or lake. As you listen to this podcast, keep the water near. To begin, let us experience the water. Look upon the water. What do you see? Is the surface calm? Does it reflect the sky and land? Or is it full of movement, reflecting innumerable scintillations of light? Close your eyes and listen. What do you hear? Is there thunder from waves or river rapids? Are there whispers from a stream or gentle lapping? Place your hand in the water. What do you feel? Is the coolness refreshing? Is it bracing? Inhale through your nose and smell the air. What do you smell? Is it the salt of the ocean? The smell of fresh water and mud? Finally, have a sip from your water bottle. How does it taste? What minute flavors can you perceive? By experiencing water through our senses, we are reminded of how our species has evolved with this compound. It is one of the most common compounds in the universe, found on other planets and moons and in comets. The atoms that make up water, hydrogen and oxygen, are the first and third most common elements in the sun, respectively. The fact that water makes up over 70% of our bodies is a reminder of our connection to the universe. All living things require water, from the largest animals to the smallest bacteria. Even in the most extreme environments on the planet, from the cold ice of Antarctica to the scorching deep volcanic vents kilometers below the surface of the ocean, there exists life in water. In Western thought, water has been maligned over the past several hundred years. We have taken a utilitarian approach to this life fluid. Rivers were harnessed to mill our grain, swamps and fens were drained to create arable land under our plows. Disease was thought to originate in wetlands, and their desiccation became a priority. Canals were created to transport goods and to irrigate our fields. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that the natural flow of water was our benefactor. The Fertile Crescent of present-day Iraq, one of the birthplaces of agriculture, relied extensively on the natural flooding cycle of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to fertilize the adjacent lands for crops. Now dammed up and controlled, these rivers no longer provide the natural transportation of sediments that once springboarded our species. Water moves nutrients from land by erosion and weathering. Water is pulled from the sky by gravity and follows the contours of the watershed on which it is deposited. It mechanically bustles materials in its path, and it dissolves matter into its column. These materials are integral to the organisms living downstream. Plant life depends on the influx of nutrients and the flushing of products from natural chemical reactions. When plant life is supported, then all other living organisms in the ecosystem are supported, including us. Our species' present-day climate catastrophe is intimately related to water. Our current understanding of the climate system identifies the hydrosphere and atmosphere as one system. Differential heating and cooling of the planet causes massive transfers in energy across the planet. This in turn affects flooding, drought, and extreme weather events. Water acts as a medium for this transportation of energy. Water vapor is the most important greenhouse gas affecting the radiative balance of our planet. As human activity alters the chemistry of the atmosphere, so too does it affect the natural distribution of water vapor. Bodies of water contain important buffering properties to the rising levels of carbon dioxide, the number one anthropogenic greenhouse gas affecting climate change. Oceans are absorbing massive amounts of CO2 by dissolving this gas. Wetlands also represent important carbon sinks. These highly productive ecosystems extract carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and buries it within its soils. The tension between water as a life-giving substance and as a resource to be exploited is exemplified in the following excerpt from T.S. Eliot's poem, The Dry Salvages. See if you can identify passages where water is simultaneously revered as a mythical force and feared for the same reasons. I do not know much about gods, but I think that the river is a strong brown god. Sullen, untamed, and intractable. Patient to some degree, at first recognized as a frontier, useful, untrustworthy, as a conveyor of commerce, then only as a problem confronting the builder of bridges. The problem once solved, the brown god is almost forgotten by the dwellers in cities. Ever, however, implacable. Keeping his seasons and rages, destroyer, reminder of what men choose to forget. Unhonored, unpropitiated by worshippers of the machine, but waiting, watching and waiting. His rhythm was present in the nursery bedroom, in the rank ailanthus of the April dooryard, in the smell of grapes on the autumn table, and the evening circle in the winter gaslight. The river is within us, the sea is all about us. The sea is the land's edge also, the granite into which it reaches, the beaches where it tosses its hints of earlier and other creation, the starfish, the horseshoe crab, the whale's backbone, the pools where it offers to our curiosity the more delicate algae and the sea anemone. It tosses up our losses, the torn seine, the shattered lobster pot, the broken oar, and the gear of foreign dead men. The sea has many voices, many gods, and many voices. Before we sign off today, it's important to make sure that we respect water when we are enjoying the landscape. This episode's Leave No Trace ethic surrounds toileting. It is important to make sure that human waste is being disposed of in the most environmentally suitable manner for your ecosystem. Before you head out camping, make sure to look up the best practices for the environment you are experiencing. If you're in a protected wilderness area, be sure to look up park regulations as well. Generally speaking, when in freshwater ecosystems, it is preferable that you toilet on land. You should dig a cat hole 15 to 20 centimeters deep and a minimum of 100 meters from the water's edge. Burn any used tissue and bury your business in ash when you have finished. The reason for this is that the biological activity in the soil is greater than that of the fresh water and can break down your business more effectively. It is also important to keep harmful human waste bacteria such as E. coli from entering the fresh water. There are exceptions to this rule. The Great Lakes of North America, for instance, have a greater capacity to break down waste than adjacent land ecosystems, so it is preferable to dispose of your waste in these large lakes. Once again, be sure to look up the local best practices before heading out. Consider the Great Lakes to be a marine ecosystem. When toileting in a marine ecosystem, the best practice is to toilet in the intertidal zone. Dig a shallow hole no greater than 15 centimeters deep, burn your tissue, and fill in the hole on top of your business in ash. Wave action will mechanically break down your waste, and the high productivity of the marine ecosystem will cycle the nutrients you have left behind. As we enjoy landscapes of water, let's do our part in maintaining their beauty and function. As a species, we rely on these systems behaving naturally. T.S. Eliot reminds us, water's rhythm was present in the nursery bedroom. Our kinship to water and its ecological services are eternal. Thanks for listening.